there's just so much mud on this bike. It's just crazy. I have, believe it or not, I've been at this for a little while now. Anyway, I'm gonna take a pause for it right now because it is the last Friday of the month, and would you believe it, it's the last Friday of the year 2022. So if you're watching this in 2023, Happy New Year. And if you're watching this today when it releases, Happy Friday. I hope you're having a good Friday. I hope you're having a great holiday season actually too. But I love having these little channel update videos at the end of the month, just so I can kind of come in and check in with you, you know, realign the time frames, because I film my videos quite a ways in advance, and you can tell because if you watched this week's video on Monday, where we went up to the Shubenacadie Department of Natural Resources hangar and saw the helicopters, you will notice I didn't have a beard. I had a lot more hair. But we're deep into the off season now, and I'm loving it. I've been taking it kind of slow, you know, just been relaxing. I've been doing a lot of Work 2.0 stuff. But also I wanted to, in addition to that, I wanted to give you a heads up on a few things that you'll be seeing used in the Big Trip series. And I want to let you know some of the gear that I took with me that kind of worked, and some of the gear that I took with me that didn't work. I have one item that totally didn't work, and I have one that's kind of like a sort of. So I'm going to save that here for a little bit deeper into the video. But until we get to that, what we'll look at is a little bit of what you can expect to see coming up on the channel as far as videos that are coming up next month, in the month of January, and a little bit of an idea of what I'm kind of doing right now to get some more content for you, get some more stuff, you know, up on the channel here for you. And stuff that I'll be working on in, you know, 2023 too. And I've got a really cool shout out here for you later on too. That's really timely as far as adventuring in Nova Scotia is concerned. And that's what we're all about right now. Anyway, I'm gonna put this cleaning business aside for right now. I still gotta take the front fairings and stuff off anyway, so it's good to take a little bit of break and we'll go over this stuff together, right? Yes, indeed. New coffee tech in the garage now. Thanks to Mrs. Dowski, she bought me a brand new coffee maker for the kitchen. So of course, the Keurig from the kitchen made its way down to the garage. So all that more incentive to be able to get down here and start tinkering. Plus the coffee is actually soothing the throat a lot. I'll tell you, if my voice starts to go on this video, Island Riders, you'll have to forgive me. I'm fighting off a pretty decent cold right now. Same kind of cold your Nan would talk to you about, you know, you're sitting around and she's like, oh, you hear that cold that's going around, some nasty cold. It's going around. Well, I got the cold that's going around, that's for sure. But the coffee's helping out a lot. That's for sure too. Right on, so what can we expect for videos that are coming down the pipe? Well, for starters, it's gonna be more of the same. The Harboring a Secret series, our winter series, is off and running. And I wanna ask you, how do you like it? But I think I already know that you guys like it quite a bit because all the videos, the views are really good. Lots of likes, lots of really cool comments from you folks, you know, on the videos too. I love doing this series so much. Every year I look forward to editing it, going on the trip itself, and just sharing those stories. Because, you know, for me, YouTube is a hobby, but it's also a creative outlet. You know, there's a lot, YouTube will give you a lot of numbers. You know, it'll say, you know, do this to make your videos better, to make your videos reach more people, do this, do that, and they'll give you a bunch of numbers and graphs and stuff like that. But for me, I kind of ignore that stuff a little bit, and I let the creativity come out. And every year, you know, the Big Trip series is my big creative outlet. I've always wanted something like that, you know, just to have free reign of how I tell the story and to be able to tell and, you know, capture the ride and the adventure and then share it with you folks, and hopefully it inspires you too. So lots more of that coming down the pipe. But the adventure takes us into the Annapolis Valley this month. So as we move away, where are we now? We're in Shubenacadie. So now we move up towards Grand Pre and Evangeline. And there's only one real good story to tell up there. Well, it's not so much of a good story. It's a bit of a darker story in Nova Scotia's history, but I'll save that for this Monday's video that's coming up. From there, we drive deeper into the Annapolis Valley and we see some really cool sights, but we also see some really cool snowmobile trails and excellent areas. And we're gonna make our way to Annapolis Royal as well. And in Annapolis Royal, we have our first campground with the motorcycles. That's right, both me and Brandon have been riding these bikes for almost 4 years now, and neither one of us have camped in a campground with it. It's always been this wild camping stuff that we tend to do. But we get to this amazing campground called Cove Oceanfront, And if you could imagine a better view, it's a hard time because we're just right out there and we have the whole Bay of Fundy in front of us. We do some camping, we do some chatting. It's a really great time. And then after that, I think this is going to be my favorite episode in the series. It'll be part 8 and it's called Electric City. I'm going to leave you with that. I'm not going to spoil it too much because, man, it's just like, I think that episode is probably like the pinnacle of adventure riding for me. For me, that day that we spent, we put a lot of miles or a lot of kilometers in the woods on that video and on that adventure, and it was just so fun. Both me and Brandon agree it was probably, the highlight of the trip. It's not the number one mission of the trip, but it's definitely the highlight. Oh man, I'm talking a lot. The voice is just going. So that's what's coming up. So what am I doing right now? I'm just doing a lot of chilling out. Like I said, I'm doing a lot of work with Work 2.0. And, I don't have too much of a budget for mods on the bike this year, but I do still have some maintenance work that I got to get done. So as I get the bike all cleaned up and as I get it all stripped down a little bit, I'll open up some time for some maintenance. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to film for that yet right now. So the schedule again for like maintenance videos is very, very loose. For me, when it comes to maintenance videos and filming stuff, I'm only going to film and put a video on YouTube of something that I'm very confident with. I'm not going to do something for the first time, film it, and then put it up there and have you believe like I'm an expert. So there has been a couple things that I did last season that I might do it again this season and bring the cameras and bring you folks along for it, just to kind of, describe the process. So looking forward to do that. When those come, I'll let you know for sure. Check out the community tab on the channel. If you ever want to get an update, I usually post something there every day, or every Wednesday at least, to let you know about what's coming up. And to maybe even give a shout out for a video, which brings me to another point. And I think, I got some really cool shout outs for you. There's couple individuals here, one you know and one you don't know, and one you probably become more familiar with here soon. So I'm gonna head back over to the bike and we'll talk about that a bit. All right, I suppose while I do this, I could probably take some of the fairings off and such too. Be productive, getting me towards that maintenance goal. But one other thing that I wanted to talk to you about too is if you're looking to get a little bit of a sneak peek to later videos that are going to be coming up towards the spring on Island ADV, one really cool video to check out would be Andy from Motorcades and Coffee, his series Northbound. Now, if you go to his channel, which is Motorcade and Coffee, just motos, because he's got 3 channels now. And I'll leave a link in the description. Check out the description for a link. That'll be a video of when he finally made it to PEI all the way from Maryland, United States. And I mentioned this before, but this video, you want to check it out because it's really cool. It's the same kind of vibe, it's the 2-rider, dual camera type vibe. It's me and Andy just going into the woods on our way to a camp. His next video in that series, I'm not sure exactly what it'd be, but I think it's probably when we go moto camping and stuff. But anyway, it's great. He has his Harley Pan America. And I took him to a trail. This is hilarious, actually. It doesn't really come out in the video like this, but I took him to a trail that me and Brandon went on a long time ago on the Appin Road. And before, there was a really cool, steep incline that we went down. And this was it wasn't super steep. It was a fairly good grade, but I got some drone footage of Brandon going down it. And I thought it would be cool for him on his Pan America, pretty easy. It's a heavy bike. I didn't want to get too crazy, but we get there and the whole thing's a ski hill now. So instead of the grade being like this, it's like this. I almost ate it big time. But him and his Pan America, Andy, they did really well. They just creeped it right down. It was perfect. So go check that video out. It's really cool. We talk about the things that make PEI, PEI. That's really good. The other thing, this one's the hardest bolt to get, because the crash bars are right in front. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to talk about was, we're in Nova Scotia with this series, and we're on all these rail bed trails, we're on these dirt roads, we're on these snowmobile trails, and if you've likely, thought to yourself, how do you find out about all those places? Well, for me, what I do, it's a very long process. I use it probably over the span of a couple months, and even some in the off season. I'm looking at satellite imagery. I'm looking at wiki trails and stuff like that. I'm looking at just basic ATV trails and snowmobile trails, and I'm trying to glue together a big route. And it takes a lot of time for me to put together. I put this big route card together with all these links and stuff. By the way, if you ever want to get an idea on the trail that I've ridden on this series, let me know in the comments, and I'll send you a link to that video's root card, basically. So it's a little bit shaky. We always deviate from it, but Island Rider Chad out in Nova Scotia is doing some good work to try to put together a Nova Scotia backcountry discovery route, and he's doing it through the help of the community of the Nova Scotia dual sport riders and adventure riders in general on Facebook. So if you're interested in being a part of that, if you're interested in getting some insight or being in on the ground floor of basically when this route develops itself, because a lot of the stuff that you see us doing in this trip series, a lot of the routes that you see there are going to be a part of that. And so there is another link down in the description that you can go to, and you'll be able to find a link to that Facebook page that he's building. And again, it's called Nova Scotia Backcountry Discovery Route. I tried really, really hard to remember that, Chad. I think I did an okay job of doing it. But check that out. It's really cool. That page, I imagine, is only going to grow and grow. And, you know, there's some interest amongst the ride group out here on Prince Edward Island of doing a similar thing. But that's like far future stuff, you know. But this is really cool to check out. So check that out. Check out Andy at Motorcades and Coffee, our video that we had there of him when he came up from Maryland, and check out Chad's Facebook group. And I will get the rest of this fairing off here right now. And then we'll talk about that gear I was mentioning. Oh, it's another tricky one right up through here. You really got to dig your head into it. All right, we're a little bit closer to our goal of getting the KLR 650 all cleaned up. So every year what I like to do is I like to look back at all the gear that I've taken with me on my adventures and the mods, maybe sometimes too, on the KLR 650. And I like to look at what stuff worked and what stuff didn't work. And I did it last year a little bit. But this year we had some highlights, and I had some gear that kind of stood out as stuff that almost really infuriated me. A little bit, not so much. I don't like to be a negative guy, but you know, I like stuff to work. I'm just going to get right into it. Sea to Summit towel, tech towel, did not work. And it's laughably how poorly this thing works. Here it is. You know, it comes in this nice compartment. And you might be asking yourself, like, why do you care about a towel so much? Well, the thing is that, you know, whenever I'm out with Work 2.0 and I'm, you know, camping out in the field, and I've just got one big rucksack and I've got everything in that, size matters. And I'm always throwing out, I have this little tiny hand towel that I have to do all my ablutions with, my shaving and everything like that. And we were headed to campgrounds on this one. And I wanted a bigger towel, but I didn't want to take up too much space. So I saw this Sea to Summit towel and I read the description. I got the description on my phone here. What does it say? And it said, enjoy the comforts of home wherever you roam with the tech towel, a luxuriously soft and super absorbent towel. The microfiber fabric is quick drying. It also features that cozy terry cloth feel for added comfort. Okay, so none of that's true. And yeah, I mean, I just wanted a cool towel, but this thing, I mean, this is the package that it comes in. And this is the kind of fiber it is. And it is actually big. And I was really excited for it. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a good towel. But you know what? This thing never dried the whole trip. It was damp the whole time. And I mean, we tried too. We were at one point when we found Electric City, we had lunch and I left it out in the sun for like an hour and a half and it did not dry. I even took it to a campground and I put it in a dryer. And like it didn't even dry. It was still damp coming out. And of course, when I'm wiping myself down with this, it feels like I'm wiping I don't know, like, not like sandpaper, but it was just weird, man. It was weird. So this guy is fit for the pit. And again, it's still probably weird that I'm going on and on about a towel, but I mean, it just stands out as something that totally didn't work for me. Something else that didn't work. Well, actually, you know what? This is not so much didn't work, but this just didn't live up to expectations. A little bit more about that. Is my power bank. I bought this power bank off Amazon. I got it for about, it was like $70. But it has this photovoltaic panel on the front of it here, like a PV panel, a solar panel. And I was really hoping that if I put this, you know, on my my Nelson Rig tank bag on the top part, the map pouch, that I would get that solar energy all the time and I would just be able to charge the thing on the go all the time. Totally didn't happen. I don't know what I expected. I kind of managed my expectations about that a little bit, but the solar panel on this guy just totally doesn't work. But I'll tell you what did work about this though. This thing held a charge like a beast. And I was able to charge my camera batteries, the comms batteries, the battery in my phone, and I was able to charge it from the bike's 12 volt distribution that we put on there too, and it worked excellent as far as charging it goes. And plus it has all these little, it has all the different type of charger ports. It has the lightning, it has the USB-C, it has all this stuff, and plus you can just put your phone on it. So it did that very well. But if you're looking for something this is going to charge from solar power, this is not it, and it's not going to do it for you. So while it is a great battery bank, and it's actually a really rad light too. It's just as bright as it gets. Good for holding the charge, not good for charging with solar energy. Now onto the onto the things that did work, and there's some great things. Let's right now give it up for the Tusk Pilot pannier bags. Holy smokes, did these bags ever perform like a beast. I'm not sponsored by Tusk or Rocky Mountain ATV at all, but I will tell you right now that these bags are awesome. All right, I did a video a long time ago, last season, when I first got them with my first impressions, and I had high hopes again. And I really thought that these bags were going to do the job, and they did the job so well. There are so many crashes and wipeouts that didn't make it onto the cameras from this series, and these guys just lived right up. I got thrown right from the bike at one point. I was on rail bed trail, and the bike just jerked out and launched me off, and the bike just went right into a ditch and rolled right into it. And these bags, no problem. There was a point in time where I drove the bike off like this edge and went into this huge deep puddle of water. I'm talking like 3 feet of water. I was completely drenched. The bike was drenched. Everything inside these were dry. It was great. And we went down again on some rocky terrain, and these are fine, and everything inside them was fine. So we also rode around in the rain a lot. We spent a whole morning, probably like, I would say 2 to 3, probably around 2.5 hours or so, just riding in a straight downpour. And again, rock solid. So if you're wondering whether or not to get the Tusk Pilot pannier bags, get them. They are awesome. The last piece of gear I wanted to share with you that really did very well is just this old rickety thing. This is just like a little grill that I bought at Canadian Tire. And it's just, what I did with it is I just took a hacksaw to the end and cut the sides off so it would fit in the pannier bags. And I just slide right in there, and it was great. We made so many good meals in camp with this thing. And the way it's set up like this, so if you get into a campground and you have like one of those, the stoves that kind of sit up on that little post, and they have the grill, well, you can set this up on top of that, and it'll get you a little bit more clearance from the fire, so you don't have to wait till the coals get down. You can just cook right away on it. It's really good. And the same goes for like one of those campgrounds that have like the steel wheel, the steel rim fire pits. You just put this right on top, and again, it gets above the flames enough so that you're not charring anything, but you're still getting that good heat for cooking. So it's really good. You don't have to wait for the coals. However, if you're doing it from a campsite, like a wild camp, and you have your fire pit straight up here, you want to wait for coals, right, to cook that. But it's great. It's so awesome. It's well used. It is a staple to the moto camping kit now, and it rounds out my camp cooking sets, which is something that I really wanted to do this year as a goal, in addition to the other goals that I have for myself as far as adventuring and adventure motorcycles are concerned, was just to get better at cooking in camp, and we did that. And in this series, you're going to see, especially this month when we go to that campground, I had these cooking goals, and I think we nailed them pretty good. So yeah, excited for that. So that's the gear that stood out to me as it worked or didn't work. I mean, I don't know, maybe you guys have better experience with this Sea to Summit towel thing. Maybe you've used it. Maybe you've, gone through the process of throwing it in the garbage like I'll do here in a second. Only reason I'm holding on to it right now is so I could make a video to tell you guys. There's probably somebody in the Sea to Summit fan base who's just gonna rip me apart, but I don't know, man, enough towel talk. Anyway, let's get back to the bike. I'm gonna get back to cleaning her up here. All right, well, progress is slim as far as cleaning the bike is concerned, but I think I can live with that. I think I'm gonna go upstairs where it's warmer and maybe chill out a little bit, crack a beer or something, watch a movie. Because that's what the off season for me is all about. Slowing down, taking time to appreciate things, and just, living in that little bit of slumber that comes with winter that's, so unique for northern parts of the country, and I love it so much. I love the wintertime just as much as I love the summer, believe it or not. But for now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm going to wish you all a happy holiday season. I hope you had a great holiday season. I hope you have a great new year. I hope 2023 brings so many awesome adventures for you. And always, if you have videos, if you have photos, if you have stories that you want to share with me, please do so. You can find me on Instagram. You can send me a message there. There's an email address and the About section of the YouTube page that you can go to, and you can send me photos there. I'll send you an email or a message back, and I'll ask you if it's okay if I feature them, because I'd love to feature them on the channel updates too. I love seeing you guys get out there. You know, seeing your adventures motivates me to get out there after my own. And if my adventures inspire yours, then that's, you know, mission accomplished for me. Oh man, I think 2023 is going to be really awesome. I'm already thinking about the big trip for 2023, and I've got a really good lead actually. It's really good. My voice is almost dead now. Oh, the coffee's far away and empty. I'm gonna have to get one of those, but I'm gonna wrap it up now and just let you know that I hope you're having a great off season. If you're not on your off season, please ride safe. Until the next time we talk, be it out in the middle of the woods, be it on the ride, be it in here in the garage, tinkering around with the KLR 650. Be careful of the towels that you buy from Sea to Side. And take care, Island Riders.